Welcome to this Millennial Video Report. It's an exciting time to be living. Last year, Mercy Ships touched over 450,000 lives. And since the turn of the new millennium, Mercy Ships has been involved in numerous activities that have touched the lives of many more thousands, thanks to our dedicated staff, crew, and your involvement. I trust this video report will touch you as well, as you picture yourself on one of the Mercy Ships during outreach. Let's first join the crew of the Caribbean Mercy.
From February till May, the Caribbean Mercy was docked in the port of La Unión in El Salvador. In this remote area, far away from wealth and prosperity, any help is appreciated and well received. The mayor of La Unión reported that since the Caribbean Mercy's first visit back in January of 1999, the crime rate in this port city had dropped an astonishing 60%. Such was the influence of sharing God's love in many ways. The Caribbean Mercy's visit was advertised throughout the southern region of El Salvador, so eye patients would know where to go for much needed help.
Well, Valentine's Day, about a month ago today, was our first day of screening here in this country. And by screening, we mean a day that we've advertised for all the eye patients that with potential need for eye surgeries came. And we figured we had between 2,000 and 3,000 people in line when we arrived.
On board the Caribbean Mercy, 435 eye surgeries gave sight to the blind. One of them was Jose Rios. Taking Jose by the hand, crew led him to the surgical unit where Dr. Glenn Strauss performed the half-hour surgery that would change Jose's life.
He was nearly blind from his cataracts. He had extremely thick cataract formation. It was nearly white, so the procedure was more complex, more complicated because of that. And I'm hopeful when we see him tomorrow that he'll have some significant improvement.
The next morning, he came back for his eye patch to be removed. It took just minutes for his eyes to adjust to the light, and he could see again. Rosa had been blind for years. The first person she saw after her eye patch had been removed was the president of her country, Francisco Flores, who visited the Caribbean Mercy.
This is a ministry because it's an opportunity for me to share my values. The fact that God values these people's lives, and I have a chance to enhance that value by allowing them to see better.
Off the ship, thousands were touched by other aspects of Mercy Ship's ministry. The village of Sube y Baja not only received a well with clean drinking water, but training as well. No more than 3 villagers could read and write, so literacy classes were started. With the availability of fresh water from the new well, agricultural skills were taught as well.
Jean was here with the agriculture program, teaching how to plant gardens, starting with a deep hole and filling it with natural compost that's readily available here in the community, such as corn cobs. And then he taught how to plant seeds, which he provided, how to make an irrigation system using a gravity drip 5-gallon bucket and some perforated tubes. He's intertwined everything with the biblical principle of life and creation, focusing the attention of the villagers back to the Creator.
After just a month, the results were promising. Soon, healthy, fresh food will be available for many. 4 other villages also received clean drinking water through the efforts of the ship's drilling team.
Well, since I retired, I thought it'd be an opportunity to serve on the Mercy Ships a little bit, and we moved in here yesterday to start this well, and as you can see, they really need it. Halfway down the hill towards the beach, there's a series of small shallow wells that they're using, and the young girls and women are constantly all day long going up and down the hill with these 5-gallon water pots, which probably weigh about 45 pounds on their heads. The water's not good at all down there. We scoped the wells out yesterday and actually drew some water out of a few of them to bring up here for the drilling. And the water has pretty high sulfur content, and I'd hate to think what kind of bacteria is in it, but they're down there using it for drinking water, for washing clothes, taking baths, shampoos, you name it.
After drilling up to 200 feet deep, each new well would be activated by pressurizing the hole. An official ceremony would initiate the use of the new source of clean, safe drinking water. In optical and audiology clinics, almost 3,000 people received prescription glasses or hearing aids. A dental clinic saw over 400 patients. 2,800 more would be seen by Mercy Ship's doctors in medical clinics.
Well, these are people whose needs are so great that you know going in that what you say and what you do perhaps is more important than things that happen in the States. And so these are people who don't have a lot of hope necessarily for what they say. And so what you bring to them in terms of your spirit, your relationship with Jesus Christ, and bringing it to them can just has an incredible impact on their lives. It means so much to them, and it's so obvious to them. And they react in this wonderful way. I mean, the people we saw this afternoon, I mean, they hugged us, they kissed us, some of them were even crying. I mean, it's hard not to be affected at how appreciative they are for what they're bringing you and what we're bringing to them.
In a local hospital in La Union, Mercy Ship's orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Tim Brown, performed 184 surgeries.
We're doing orthopedic surgery in this local hospital. We're standing right outside the operating rooms in the General National Hospital here in La Union. And we're doing all sorts of orthopedics, anywhere from acute trauma to what we call neglected trauma. Somebody that broke their leg and because they couldn't afford the care, they never received it, and so we see a lot of problems from that. Crooked arms, crooked legs, bones that never healed or heal crooked, and so we can either get them to heal or straighten them out. We're doing a lot of pediatric orthopedic surgery like club feet, and the other day we did a young boy that had real bowed legs, and we straightened those out. So a wide variety of things.
Umberto had lived for a year with a damaged and dislocated elbow. After a 1-hour surgery and a few days of recovery, he could travel home with his mother. His dad and siblings were overjoyed when they welcomed Umberto home. Last year, Dr. Brown operated on a 12-year-old girl. Isabel was born with club feet and had never received surgery. Visiting her in the remote place where she lives was an exciting event. Isabel is now able to walk and play with shoes on her feet. Dr. Brown also checked Isabel's 1-year-old sister Elsa, who had been born with club feet as well. Her parents decided that Elsa and her mother could come along to La Union.
We would like you to think about coming to the hospital and letting us do the surgery on her feet.
Entonces queremos que ustedes...
2 days later, Elsa received her surgery. She was operated on by Dr. Brown and a local surgeon, Dr. Darwin Pereira. They repaired 1 foot each. Soon Elsa will be able to walk normally as any other child. Having come to the Caribbean Mercy with a team from his church, Pastor Gary Brandenburg instructed many pastors. He sums up what brings so many volunteers to work with Mercy Ships through the story of Jesus washing his disciples' feet.
Well, it's interesting that Jesus says at the end of that passage in John 13 that now you know these things, blessed are you if you do these things. And I think what he was saying to the disciples is that there is an attendant blessing that comes with a willingness to serve. I think people are most miserable when they're so caught up in themselves and trying to acquire things for themselves. But the people that we brought down here, in spite of, what was it today, 94, 95 degree heat in the hottest part of the year down here, there's such a sense of peace and a sense of fulfillment in knowing, first of all, that people matter to God. These people matter to God. And for them to come and to be part of that and just to give part of their life to share with these very gracious, humble people brings a blessing. And the blessing that people are trying to find in so many different experiences in the U.S. is right here for the taking, for those who will come and be part of this kind of an effort.
Last year, the crew of the Caribbean Mercy joined the Island Mercy's crew to serve the people of Negros Island in the Philippines. During 2000, the Island Mercy has remained there to serve people in a number of locations.
In the Pacific, the Island Mercy continues to bring physical and spiritual healing to the people of the Philippines. In the first 6 months since the turn of the new millennium, the Island Mercy's crew has touched the lives of over 6,000 with medical care. Of these, over 1,700 people received dental care. Almost 3,000 received glasses in optical clinics. 138 received eye surgery, and 713 were taught primary health care.
The latest addition to the growing Mercy Ships fleet has recently been named. In 1999, Mercy Ships was able to purchase the Dronning Ingrid, a former rail ferry. In April of this year, she received a new name at her naming ceremony in Newcastle, United Kingdom.
My Lord, ladies and gentlemen, having been patrons of Mercy Ships UK for 3 years now, John and I have been immensely impressed at the emergence of, from such humble beginnings, this. Mercy Ships are able to make a huge difference to the lives of those whose basic needs are simply not met. Today marks the start of a new life for this amazing ship. A lifetime in which she will bring untold relief and salvation to hundreds of thousands of Africa's most poor and neediest people. It's a great privilege, it's a great pleasure to name this ship the Africa Mercy. May God bless her and all who sail in her.
3 cheers for the Africa Mercy. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip!
We've had staff here today who've served on at least one of all of the 3 other sister ships in the fleet. And we can hardly wait until this, the largest, the most modern, and I think probably the most efficient ship of the fleet, joins the other 3 sisters in reaching out with the 2 hands of the gospel that has become such a core. It's the signature sentence of who we are and what we do. It's had a profound impact on people here.
Early in the millennium, the Anastasis sailed into Banjul, the port city of the Gambia, West Africa. Nearly the entire country had heard about the ship's upcoming outreach through nationwide radio and television promotion in this Muslim land. On board the Anastasis, a welcome was given on behalf of the President and the people of the Gambia.
It is with pleasure that I stand here this morning on the deck of the MV Anastasis to welcome and thank Mercy Ships on behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Dr. Alhaji Yaya A.J. Jammeh, and also on behalf of the people of the Gambia.
The Gambia is a small country with just over 1 million inhabitants. Yet the number of people coming to the Mercy Ship screening days proved to be an indication of the amount of need. Thousands from the Gambia and many from surrounding countries like Guinea, Senegal, and Sierra Leone crowded a local stadium in Banjul for a place on the surgery list of the Anastasis.
We have a lot of people outside the gates of the stadium that we're using. A good proportion of them need to come through and see our eye surgeons or to see myself and others suffering with the blindness from cataracts, the crossed eyes. We've seen some very young children with glaucoma, which hopefully can be scheduled so that they'll keep the sight in their eyes. Quite a number of people that have been deformed by cancrum oris, this terrible bacterial infection which destroys the flesh of their faces. Quite a few children and some adults as well with cleft lip, cleft palate, tumors, people that have been burned and the burn contractures have immobilized their arms or their legs or their necks.
Which would be good. Excellent. We can help you.
One of the 435 eye patients who had received surgery on board the Anastasis was Fatimata, Her mother brought her to the screening, hoping for help from Mercy Ship's doctors. Fatimata was selected for surgery, and 3 days later she was on board.
This young girl has what is called an esotropia, which is when the eyes are not in line and tend to move in towards the nose. This is of significance for them because it's cosmetically unsightly, but also because the eye that's facing in the wrong direction doesn't get used and becomes what we call amblyopic, or sometimes called lazy.
Less than a week after the screening time, Fatimata could leave the anastasis with straightened eyes and a new life. When Barama Mane came to the anastasis, he was almost completely blind. With very white cataracts, he had not been able to see for years. All it took was a half-hour surgery to remove the cataract lens. The same afternoon the patch was removed, Barama could see again. Without help from his friends, he was able to walk off the ship and return home with a new future. A total of 771 life-changing surgeries were performed during the 4-month outreach. Dental clinics were set up in rural areas of the Gambia. Over 2,000 people received free dental treatment. 2,500 people were taught basic health and hygiene. 30 were trained to become basic health teachers to their own people. They graduated before the anastasis left. Village clinics saw almost 3,300 patients. 14 students from 11 villages were trained to build latrines in their communities. The first completed project was officially opened as an example of many more similar building projects. A much larger building project was completed in Brikama.
One project that we're really excited about is a three-way cooperation between Mercy Ships, because we are the ones building the structure for this, what is called a reproductive health clinic. But we're working together with a Christian missions organization called WEC International. They have been here for 33 years, mostly doing medical work because it is a strongly Muslim country. And the only way they've been able to work here in the past is by doing medical work. We've met with their people. They have very competent doctors and nurses. And they wanted to be involved in this area of Brikama because there is quite an increase of cases with HIV and AIDS, and not really all that much that happened in that area, especially in that rural setting. It's about an hour away from here, but it's a town of close to 100,000 people in that general area, including various villages around it. And the clinic that is there is far too small for the volume of people, even with their general needs. In the rainy season, malaria season, they told us there are sometimes 2-3 children per bed in that clinic. That's also a hospital, small hospital. And so on the one hand, we are building an extension to their hospital ward, especially for the children. And a separate building is this reproductive health clinic, where a program will be started working together with the WEC International and the Ministry of Health to have a ministry or to take care of people with HIV infection and AIDS symptoms.
The project was completed and the buildings were dedicated. Before the anastasis left, the buildings were in use to the delight of the people of Brikama. With all hands-on demonstrations of God's love, the anastasis crew explained the gospel to 25,000 people. The anastasis left, but the crew left a legacy in the Gambia.
Last year, during the anastasis outreach to Guinea, West Africa, one patient traveled 600 miles to the ship, but had to be turned away. Her tumor could not be safely removed on board. But Mercy Ship staff went the extra mile to find help for her.
When sorrow can nowhere be found, and greed shall lay its weapons down.
Seni Weko lives in the forest region of Guinea. When the Anastasis had already left her country, she traveled with a missionary companion, John Erickson, to Texas for her surgery. Through email, Mercy Ship staff had contacted the World Cranial Foundation in Dallas.
Shall peace and love again in them one of these days.
Dr. Salyer and his team were willing to donate their time to remove Sene's tumor and reconstruct her face. The Dallas City Medical Center donated the facilities for a 13-hour surgery. Only 2 weeks later, Sene visited the Mercy Ship's International Operations Center, where she regained strength before her return to Guinea.
No, but I'm interested in this.
Oh, okay. So she wants to thank you very, very much.
Sure.
He says, God bless you.
Her brother-in-law explained, if we sold all we owned, land and houses, we couldn't have even paid for her plane ticket. But Sene, like every person, is invaluable in God's eyes.
I trust you've enjoyed watching these exciting reports from our ship's outreaches. It is through your gifts, prayers and volunteering to serve, whether short-term or long-term, that we are able to impact so many. In closing, here is Mercy Ship's President, Don Stevens.
I'm sure you'll agree with me that this Mercy Ship's report had a lot of things to communicate, focus in on the wonderful outreach of the Anastasis in the Gambia, what's been happening in Central America with the Caribbean Mercy, the naming ceremony of the new ship, the Africa Mercy, these wonderful changed lives. Well, we have had an outside firm, a leading firm globally, do an organizational review on Mercy Ships. How well are we doing? How do we measure success? What's it cost per person served? How are our staff doing? And the result of this is encouraging, but there's also some areas that really need some work. We referred to it as our best wall and our wailing wall, the area that we need to work on. In our best wall, there's some remarkable things. The quality of service to the poorest of the poor. Patient after patient is prayed for, is loved. Not only do they get the medical care, but the deeper spiritual issues are also addressed. Another one of the best practices is the linking of the two hands of the gospel together, the visualization and the verbalization of God's love. Another one of the best is use of old ships and how well they're maintained and their purpose and their focus. On the side that we call the wailing wall, the issue that needs great attention, that you can help us on an awfully lot, is public awareness. We've had so many people say to us, Mercy Ships is still not very well known. You're a well-kept secret. And that's no longer to our credit. For a while, when we didn't have much of a track record, that was all right. And philosophically, we come from the perspective that the least we talk about ourselves, the better. It's always much higher when others speak on your behalf. We don't like the negative side of promotion, and none of us would want to be involved in self-promotion. But we realize that this ministry is God's dream. We're really talking about fulfilling His purpose, His kingdom. So public awareness, public relations is a very important thing. Would you help make us better known? Will you tell your friends, your neighbors, your church groups, your Bible studies, your local newspapers, magazines, and also, very importantly, would you pray with us that the area that's on our need for improvement wall, our wailing wall, will become so good that we move it to the best wall, that others might know of this ministry that's changing lives around the world. You're a very vital part of the team. Your prayers make a difference. Your activities, phone calls, talking to your friends will make a significant difference. Together, we are bringing hope and healing. Thank you for your part.